ranking show. This show is sponsored. It is sponsored by Prize Picks. I know Luke has something to get to. Let's get to Prize Picks first because I want to give away some free money. How about it?
I like free money.
So if you haven't, same here. This is stupid. Like, I don't know why they're doing this, but let's steal money from Prize Picks. We might as well. If they're willing to give us money, let's take it, run them out of business, whatever. If you haven't played on Prize Picks, it's a DFS site, but you're picking over, under for fantasy points or a stat category. And you chain them together, parlay them together for, crazy odds. You can get up to like 10x your entry pretty easily. Starting at midnight tonight, it's not announced yet, but they are going to release an over-under for Josh Allen's passing yards tomorrow night at 1/2. So if he passes for 1 passing yard, which I'm pretty confident he can do, and this better hit. If this doesn't hit, I don't know what to tell you. I apologize.
Be right.
But be right. Like, I think it's set at like 260 or 270 something right now. It's going to go down to 1/2. So it's essentially just a free spot. So you just got to pick one other thing, and then you're good. You'll at least double your money. So if you're watching on YouTube, link in the description, click that and deposit. You'll get a full deposit match up to $100 as well. So you can take your free $100, put it on this, do whatever you got to do. So you get free money from us. You get a free pick from Prize Picks. Over 1/2 Josh Allen passing yards. Have at it. Like, I know I'm going to.
Who all qualifies?
Everyone who has not. Oh, for the 1/2 thing, everybody. Like, if you have an account, pretty much.
And even
get your sister to make a burner account for you. Do whatever you got to do. For the deposit match, anyone who hasn't signed up for an account or deposited yet, just click the link. Or if you're not watching on YouTube, go to PrizePicks.com, promo code Flurry. Again, a free $100 to you. Have at it.
Now, is Flurry all caps? Or is Flurry...
You can do it all caps. You can do it all lowercase. You could do a capital U, Trevor, and nothing else. I think it should all work.
Hell yeah.
What about only one of the R's being capitalized?
Let's find. Maybe it's a glitch in the Matrix. Maybe you'll get $200. Who knows? Try it out. Let me know.
What if I only capitalize the F and the U? Does that also work?
That may tell you to go fuck yourself. I'm not 100% sure, but we should try it out. Okay, Luke, what do you got for us to start us off?
Okay, with this being Thanksgiving week, feast week, as those who watch Kylo's basketball would know it to be, I wanted to just rip this off the top. It's probably not a question that is going to generate a lot of laughs or anything, but just give me your top three sides on Thanksgiving dinner, not counting like turkey or ham or whatever you eat for the main.
Do desserts count, or is this like a okay? That's
like when you have Thanksgiving dinner and you put like all your food onto a plate and you kind of pour gravy on it. What else is going on that another three that are going on besides like the main turkey or ham?
Well, I think the people, first of all, that pour gravy over everything, psychopaths. Absolute psychopaths.
Disagree.
Absolute crazy people, and they should be put down.
Disagree.
But
I think the people that don't get that should get firing squad. But
well, if you don't see our podcast next week, you know what happened. Number one, I mean, everybody's got to do it. If you don't, you're a piece of shit and a menace to society. Mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes have to be there. That is, I don't care how they are, they got to be there. I prefer no chunks in them, but they got to be there. The second one, it sounds weird. It's more like a stuffing consistency, but it's called corn pudding that my mom makes. I don't know if it's a Wisconsin recipe. It's like a stuffing. It's not like a pudding. Okay, we're not crazy people here. That's probably 2, 3.
Before you go, I just want everyone to know that Trevor's a certified no chunk guy.
Yeah, no chunks. No chunks here. We don't do that. And then 3, there are a lot of good ones. And to be honest, I can't think of all of them. Number 3, I'd probably have to go dinner rolls or like a cornbread or something like that. You can't go wrong with that. That needs to be there. I think it's tough. I think there's some good ones being left, but you got to get the 2 mains of mashed potatoes and rolls in there.
I'm going to back you up with that the baked corn pudding, whatever you want to call it thing. We have that as well. I don't know what it's called, but it's fucking delicious. I'll put that on there. I will go dressing or stuffing. I don't care where it was, like whatever it is. I like it. And then the third, I don't think I'm going to go mashed potatoes. Like I could take or leave them, I think. Unless they're like, at least the ones we have. Like we have real ones, but I'd rather have like a garlic mashed potato. I think those are better. But
well, they're all mashed potatoes. It's the same family.
Yeah, but one tastes like gravy and nothing, like gravy paste, and the other has garlic in it, and that tastes better.
We're not making KFC mashed potatoes here from a box, buddy. Okay.
I mean, okay. Anyway, I would probably go like sweet potatoes. I like those more.
That's fair. That's fair. That's a good one. I don't care what Luke says. That's a good one, and I support it.
Sweet potatoes are the worst way to prepare a potato.
What? No, it's absolutely
not. You don't prepare a potato. Like, you don't make a potato sweet.
It's a yam.
Yeah. Like,
anybody who calls it a yam just wants to sound smarter than they are.
That's just a disservice to the potato family.
It's a sweet potato. How dare you? Sweet potatoes are
Luke, what are yours?
Okay, so mine are green beans is my number one. I absolutely love green beans.
A vegetable? Really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's already throw your list out the window. Do you put gravy over that too?
I do.
You nasty psychopath.
I do. It's green beans, mashed potatoes, and mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese? No.
Mac and cheese.
We need to talk about this. Mac and cheese is not a part of Thanksgiving.
It 100%
is not. It is not. That is no. It's
yes.
not. Mac and cheese is something you make when you're too lazy to make something for your kids and they're whining for something good.
Not unless you make
mac
good
and cheese. Has no place at Thanksgiving. Absolutely none.
Disagree.
I don't have it at mine, but I wish we did. It probably
it's so
would have
good.
made the list.
It's good, but it's not a Thanksgiving. No.
So the thing is,
when you have rolls up there, man, come on.
But the thing is with rolls, that's what I use to like soup up all
the gravy,
at the end that I put over my whole plate and everything.
Over your whole plate, that is horrifying.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, Trevor! Sorry for breathing.
Bring your shit takes in here, man. They're gonna get slammed.
I'm afraid to get into the rankings. Trevor's gonna crucify everything.
You know what, Zach? Yeah.
Also, I think that turkey's trash and everyone should be eating ham.
I'll back that up.
Turkey is overrated, although it does help you sleep well. I will say that. That's a good one.
Yeah, so does beer.
True. As Luke learned at the last Packer game.
Hey, didn't fall asleep.
I thought you did. I thought you fell asleep. You blacked out? Is that what it was?
Because you didn't remember
the game.
I got hiccups twice during that game.
Okay.
I don't know what that has to do with sleeping.
Cool, dude. Okay, let's get into these rankings. Rankings are on flurrysports.org. They are also on Fantasy Pros. We will compare them to the consensus, but I'll start with just top 5 quarterbacks here. I do have Lamar Jackson coming back. I think he's not sick, so I have him number 1 versus the Browns. I have Jalen Hurts 2 at the Giants, Josh Allen 3 at the Saints, Tom Brady 4 at the Colts, Justin Herbert 5 at the Broncos. I feel pretty good about my top 2, to be completely honest, but then I have no idea. Trevor, what do you think about those 5 quarterbacks?
I mean, they're really good. Obviously, Jalen Hurts, I think he's quarterback 1 now. I'm not completely sure about that, but I mean, he's definitely up there against the Giants. That should be great. 3 and 4, I mean, I'd assume we see Allen get back on track. Brady was better too this past week. And then Justin Herbert at 5. He looked like a, dare I say, top 10 quarterback last week. He looked really good again. He plays a Denver defense that, while has surprised people after Von Miller has left, is still not that good. So I think he'll have a good game.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, Trevor. I feel like Justin Herbert's kind of like the guy who can really, do damage against bad defenses, and I think he's proved that with his first, year and a half in the NFL here now. But I really like Lamar Jackson at 1, not because I'm a huge Lamar Jackson fan, but I think Cleveland's defense sucks outside of Myles Garrett. Denzel Ward is fine, whatever, but they can't cover anyone. If you double team Myles Garrett, then there's no pass rush coming from everywhere. This seems like a game where Lamar Jackson can either, hit Hollywood Brown deep, Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews over the middle all day, or just run all day. I think Baltimore can get the run game going a lot, which benefits Lamar Jackson so much because the play action means so much to that offense. So I do really like Lamar Jackson at this one spot here.
And we've seen Lamar Jackson struggle when teams blitz him and stuff like that. I just don't think Cleveland's capable of doing that. I think that's why they have the big guys up front to generate pressure. I don't think their secondary is good enough to hold up, in man-to-man coverage. So yeah, I like him. To your point about Herbert, I'm pretty sure Patrick Surtain is out still for Denver, which makes a mediocre defense worse, clearly. So I like that. Then, you go down outside the top 5. I have Dak Prescott 6. Gallup is probably going to be his top wide receiver. So say what you want about Dak on Thanksgiving, I guess. And also Ezekiel Elliott's not 100%, so you can't really trust the running game necessarily to take a bunch of pressure off of him. I don't really know what to make of him, but I do have him at 6. Aaron Rodgers is at 7. He has a broken toe, and he also is playing behind an offensive line that's going to have Josh Nijman blocking Von Miller and Royce Newman blocking Aaron Donald. So, I don't necessarily trust him. Matthew Stafford's going back to Green Bay. Who knows? Cam Newton's there. He'll probably run one in. If he doesn't run one in, what's his value? I think there's a lot of question marks this week. And there's also a lot of really terrible games. So,
just to touch on that point, I haven't written it up yet, but I was talking to Henry about Survivor articles this week, and I'm looking at it. It's really tough this week. I don't know about you guys, but it feels like matchups are just really tough to judge this week, especially team on team. But Zach, I agree with you. Cam Newton should be a good quarterback, right? But he's not going to be if he doesn't run in a touchdown. Matthew Stafford, you never know what you're going to get out of him in Lambeau. Aaron Rodgers, bad offensive line. Dak Prescott sucks and things. There's just so many factors I feel like that are going into this week that haven't gone in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. Also Carson Wentz plays Tampa Bay, who has a bad secondary, but Carson Wentz is going to try to kill himself in the game.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be one moment where he tries to truck Ndamukong Suh, or he's going to do something like that, and it's not going to end well. I don't trust any of these quarterbacks.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, I think you can make a solid argument he's not going to be top 10, which sounds crazy. And we all know how talented he is, but if they do stop the Rams, let's be honest, they're probably holding. And that's going to back them up more. That's going to make it even harder to pass. With that toe injury, obviously we saw what he was able to do to the Vikings, but the Rams are different. And the Rams had a bye because every team gets a bye before they play the Packers. Even in week 2, it felt like. So they're going to come out like a man possessed. Everybody's going to, start calling for Rodgers' head, even though he's got basically scarecrows in the O-line.
Pretty much comparing my rankings to the consensus, there isn't anything too crazy different. I have Tyrod Taylor at 14, which is 3 spots higher. I know, Trevor, you wrote him up in the Quarterback Streamers article. I like Tyrod this week. I don't think there's really a reason not to. Do you want to say anything else about him against the Jets? That's not obvious, I guess.
He's one of those guys. I think his floor is probably 10 points, ceilings 25 max. He's not a sexy play, but he's a good placeholder. He's not going to lose any games.
Right. I was going to say this seems like a 17-point week out of him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think he's super trustworthy. I think he's reliable. He's not going to lose you your fantasy week, which if you have Patrick Mahomes on bye or something, you need to pick somebody up. That's all you can really ask for at this point. Daniel Jones I have at 17, which is 4 spots higher. They fired Jason Garrett. That's good. They have what's-his-face from Cleveland calling plays now.
Freddie Kitchens.
Freddie Kitchens. So, I was initially I like Daniel Jones now. And it's Freddie Kitchens. Son of a bitch, man. I don't know what they're even trying to do. But the Giants do play Philadelphia. So, in Philadelphia is a team that's not going to confuse you. They're just going to force you to do everything underneath. So, I think Daniel Jones is sneaky this week. I think he can be fine. I have Andy Dalton at 20. That's 4 spots higher. He plays the Lions. I think he has sneaky top 12 upside. I just didn't want to rank him up there. But it's the Lions. I don't know. I believe in the Lions, but I also believe Andy Dalton loves Matt Nagy. And I know Matt Nagy loves Andy Dalton. I think they're going to be playing for each other in this game. And then I have Teddy Bridgewater at 22, which is 3 spots higher. Not because I love him, just because he is like a generic Tyrod Taylor. He's steady, and that's where he's going to finish. He's not going to be 25 like the consensus has him. I'm lower on Tua, Heineke, Ryan Tannehill, and Mac Jones. I have Mac Jones at 24. Consensus has him at 19. And I really like Mac Jones, and the matchup looks really good. I just don't really see a ton of upside with him. Luke, do you agree, disagree?
I totally agree with you, because the Patriots have, what have they won 4 or 5 games in a row now? They've been doing it all basically without Mac Jones throwing 200 yards. They're winning on defense and running the ball. Ramondre Stevenson's turning it on. Damien Harris is still there. Mac Jones just hitting guys underneath. Take what he can give you, and then he'll hit, Kendrick Bourne or Nelson Aguilar or whoever for a 20, 30-yard touchdown. Like, that's all you're getting out of Mac Jones. You're not going to get a day like, Kirk Cousins had last week or anything like that. It seems that, Mac Jones isn't completely, he's not completely set in this, like, oh, I'm the leader of this offense. It feels like they're still kind of getting him integrated in this offense. And, they're doing a hell of a job at it. Like, Mac Jones is playing good football right now, but you're just not doing enough to be, to want him in your fantasy lineup.
I'm going to be the lone wolf and disagree. This will go into my guarantee that I'll make later, but I think he gets 2 touchdowns in this game. Like you said, it is a good matchup. I think the Titans kind of put everything into stopping that run and making Mac Jones beat them, and I don't think they're able to be good enough. I think he can dink and dunk his way to a win, kind of like Tom Brady did so many times. So I like him this week, especially with, some of the guys ahead of him. Dalton, he loves Nagy, but Detroit always plays better on Thanksgiving, it seems. Heineke, Tua, I can't trust them. So for that reason, I think that's a decent place for Jones, in my opinion.
I mean, I'm going to keep him there. It's just, I just don't see the need for him to be aggressive in this game whatsoever. I don't think Tennessee does anything. I think the Patriots should just take away Tannehill, or they're going to force Tannehill to beat them. And I think either way, it's a win for the Patriots. Like, I don't think there's any way the Titans win this game. And I think the Patriots could run the ball 40 times, and be fine. I don't know. Any other quarterback you guys want to talk about?
Zach, you were a little lower on Taylor Heineke than the consensus. What's the reason behind that? I don't know. Yeah, right. I know he's kind of in a weird spot. Like, I've talked about him a couple times where he almost seems matchup proof because he just goes out there and plays rather than scheming and stuff. But it feels like a good matchup against Seattle. They're at home. Seattle's got to travel across the country. I don't know. I feel like all the stars are aligned for Heineke to have a good game on primetime football.
I think he outperforms 19. I think I'll for sure move him ahead of Tua. But I think I like Daniel Jones more. I think I like Garoppolo more, and I think I like Derek Carr more.
Which is fair.
I don't dislike Heineke this week at all. I think he probably finishes around the 17 to 16 range. It's tough for me to rank him there. I got
a return of a beloved by me segment. Trevor's deep dives. Matt Ryan is gonna have one of those games where it just goes off again. It just seems like it's inevitable against Jacksonville when he really shouldn't. Since the bye, he had a good game, 1 bad, a good, 2 bad. It's like a weird version of the Fibonacci sequence. So he's going to have a good game and then 3 more bad games right after. He's going to light Jacksonville up. He'll probably have 3 touchdowns, 300 yards. Everybody will question why he's doing this to the Falcons again. And, we reset for the next week.
How many fantasy football shows are bringing up the Fibonacci sequence?
Not any that I watch.
And that's a completely fair point. To your point, he's had a long week. He has a good matchup. He should get Cordell Patterson back. Maybe. He didn't practice today, I don't think. But there's a chance he comes back. Man, it's tough for me to rank him any higher, though. But I think you're right. This is a shitty week. Trevor Simeon, I have at 28. I think he could be a top 15 guy. I don't think he's any good, but I think he could stumble into a top 15 week against the Bills because I don't think the Bills defense is very good. So I have no idea this week. Like, I'm fine with saying that about quarterbacks. I have no clue.
This is kind of just throw everything onto paper and see how it lands, and we'll roll with that.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's move on to running backs, though. This is half PPR scoring. I have Christian McCaffrey number 1 at the Dolphins. I have Jonathan Taylor versus the Buccaneers at 2. Dalvin Cook 3 at the 49ers. Austin Eckler 4 at the Broncos. Najee Harris 5 at the Bengals. Luke, what do you think about those 5 running backs on the road? I guess one's at home.
It seems like, if Christian McCaffrey's catching touchdowns, it's probably pretty likely that he's going to be a top 5 running back. He got a touchdown last week. I watched a little bit of that Carolina game. Cam Newton looked to go to him like a lot. I don't know if that's the chemistry that they had last time Cam Newton was there. But I don't know if anyone gets more of a boost, and not that he needed it, but anyone gets more of a boost in fantasy football than Christian McCaffrey getting Cam Newton back. Because you got to imagine with Cam Newton, they're going to be running read options, triple options, all these trick plays. If Cam Newton's not keeping it, it's only going to Christian McCaffrey. So I love him at number 1. Jonathan Taylor is very interesting because he plays a very tough Tampa Bay defense, but the dude just had 5 touchdowns last week. So you got to imagine the Colts are going to roll with him a little bit. Colts are another team that I think play action really helps them a lot. So I assume they try to get Jonathan Taylor going a couple times. Maybe it doesn't work first drive. I don't see him shying away from it if it doesn't happen right away.
Mm-hmm.
This sucks. There are so many opportunities for guarantees, and one of the guys that is highlighted here for me is Jonathan Taylor as well. Obviously, he just had 5 touchdowns. He was amazing, incredible. Against Tampa Bay, I just have a feeling they're going to go to Hines. And I know Hines hasn't even really been doing anything in the pass catching game. It just seems like something they scheme up. And with that happening, if that does happen, like I think it does, I don't know if Jonathan Taylor's top 5 because I don't know if he can find holes against his Tampa defense. But for how he's been so far this year alone, it's hard to argue with it too.
Yeah, I think matchup wise, it's definitely scary. It's definitely tough. They could go away from him. I don't know. Like if I look at some of these other running backs, I'm just looking at touchdown upside at this point at the very top. And clearly he just scored 5. So he has touchdown upside. I think he's going to get the ball if they're getting close. I don't trust their tight ends whatsoever.
Yeah. My only thing with them is I think this is a big game for Indianapolis because Tennessee's got a tough game. If Indianapolis can win this game, they're 2 games within the division now. And I feel like the only way that Indianapolis can, get some offense going is getting the ball to Jonathan Taylor early and often.
They're going to have to. It just comes down to if they stick with it or if they go away from it right away when it doesn't work. Because it'll work eventually if they keep feeding them. It's just if you don't see any progress or whatever in the first quarter, it's tough to stick with. I understand, but you got to.
So we do have a question about running backs from Jay Kircheville. I hope I didn't butcher that. Do I play Mark Ingram? Iffy with his injury. It's either him or Devontae Freeman. I'm saying Freeman. I trust Freeman more, with the injury designation.
You'll know about Mark Ingram. So if he plays, I think you play him. And if he doesn't, then here's your answer. If he's active, I think you have to play him, to me.
I still feel like Mark Ingram, if you're playing him, you're still chasing a touchdown because that Saints offense is not good right now.
The workload's there, though. I think he scored last week, maybe? I know he got a bunch of yards. Oh, let's look. He did not score last week. He had 88 rushing yards, he had 6 catches. I think he's just, the workload's there if he plays, though. I'm not afraid of Tony Jones, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't think anybody is.
I don't know. Never know. Maybe Ty Montgomery.
If you had to pick one, who do you think scores a touchdown? Ingram or Freeman?
Ingram.
Yeah.
Ingram, for sure.
Freeman.
I don't trust anything about the Baltimore backfield. Not only could it maybe not be a running back running it in, it could also be Latavius Murray, who's getting healthier. It could also be Tyson Williams. It could also be a trick play. It could, there's too many things. for me. Clap nuts.
Woo!
Start
All right,
Brandon Ayuk or Brandon Cooks. Ayuk or Cooks, full PPR. I'll look ahead really quick, the wide receiver rankings. I think I have Cooks higher, though. I have Cooks at 19. I have Ayuk at 28. So it's pretty convincingly Cooks for me.
Yeah, I'm with you. Cooks is like the only option on the Texans right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, the targets he gets are insane outside of, this past week when he only got 3, which is odd seeing that they won that game. But beside the point, he feels due for another 100-yard game. He really does with the targets he's getting.
Yeah. I'm just not afraid. I think last week was a little bit of a fluke. I think the Jets may actually put up a fight this week. I think it's going to be competitive, so they can't just give Rex Burkhead 40 carries. They may actually have to be a little bit aggressive and let Tyrod whip it around a little bit. And if that's the case, Brandon Cooks has to be involved. Looking at the rest of these running backs, I do have Ingram at 21. I'm ranking him as if he is playing. If he does not play, I will put Tony Jones in the 30 range, probably. Probably kind of right behind J.D. McKissic, maybe. I have J.D. McKissic at 31. I'd probably put him at 32. He's not somebody I'm excited about. What other running backs you guys want to talk about here?
How about A.J. Dillon?
I currently have A.J. Dillon at 9. It's tough. They should try to establish the run. If there's one thing that a bad offensive line needs is to run the football. You shouldn't ask an offensive line to come and set up pass protection against Von Miller and Aaron Donald. That's just going to break their confidence, and it's going to get the defensive line into a rhythm. You need to take it to these guys. So I think A.J. Dillon should at least get a big workload early in the game. And if he rolls, I think it should be fine. I'm not afraid of this Rams defensive front in terms of running. And you would assume his touchdown upside's pretty high. So he's a top 10 guy for me. However, the guys right behind him, I don't trust even a little bit. So it's almost kind of by default, he's a top 10 guy.
Yeah. That's fair. I almost, A.J. Dillon, the nice thing about A.J. Dillon, as us three are Packer fans, is that he falls forward on all of his runs, right? He's not getting, basically not getting less than 3 yards of carry. And, that's what you look for in a running back when you run the ball. You get 3 yards. You get 3 yards every play, you're going to win a game, right? That's what A.J. Dillon does for you. So I don't see why the Packers should shy away from A.J. Dillon, even if they get down, because Von Miller and Aaron Donald are looking at the quarterback and the quarterback only. So that should open up so many rushing lanes, maybe to the left side, to the right off tackle, or anything like that.
Yeah. I'm not afraid of Aaron Donald stopping the run.
Right.
He is unbelievably overhyped. He's an unbelievable pass rusher. He's not a run stopper. He's tiny, and he's going to get pushed. Even Royce Newman can push him back if Royce Newman locks up on him. So I think it's going to be fine.
One of the guys I'm interested to talk about, I see you have him ranked at 22. Damien Harris. I think you were the one who got me high on him going into this year. He's had some great weeks. He's also had some meh weeks, really. Last week against Atlanta, that backfield looks split 50-50. So what's your thought process behind him still at that RB2 fringe RB3 with Stevenson right behind him at 27?
I think they'll split for the most part. I think down in the red zone, they're still going to give Harris the nod over him more often than not. So I think he has more of a touchdown upside of the two. I know the Patriots want to run the ball in the red zone, so I think both have touchdown upside in general anyway, especially if Hunter Henry doesn't play. I know he's questionable right now, so if he doesn't play, I actually like both guys a ton more. You're kind of chasing a touchdown to secure that value. I don't think he runs for 100 yards because of that split now. But I think he probably gets somewhere between 12 to 15 touches and probably totals like 60 yards, and he could fall into the end zone, that's RB2. So I just think he has touchdown upside over Stevenson.
Agreed.
Another backfield that sucks for fantasy football to figure out is Buffalo now. It's a complete nightmare. Zach Moss no longer heavily involved. All of a sudden, Matt Breida is. If you have Zach Moss, he's certainly droppable. You're definitely not starting him even in a flex. I currently have Devin Singletary ranked the highest out of the three. I have him at 40. I have Zach Moss at 43. I have Matt Breida at 45. And I don't want to start any of them. I suggest the same for you. I understand that it's also not even a good matchup against New Orleans. So there's no reason to start them if you need to drop somebody to create a room for, I don't know, who is maybe David Johnson. David Johnson has more upside now. I'd drop any of them for him, people like that. I assume you guys feel the same about that backfield.
Yep.
What's up with Matt Breida? He's the toxic boy that every girl falls in love with in high school. He'll go to teams. He's clearly not the best option, and it doesn't matter. They'll just give him the ball way more than they should. It makes no sense.
But once he touches the ball, they're going to talk about how fast he is.
Mm-hmm.
And sportscasters love that. They'll just, this guy's so fast. He set the record for fastest play 3 years in a row. And he's got to do it this year. He needs touches. Once he does it this year, there we go. Then he can sit again and get hurt again. That's all he does.
It's like West Virginia basketball in the tournament, how they should win every single year, but they never do, and everyone always takes them to the Final Four every single year, and they always lose in the round of 32.
Got to do it for Huggy.
Right.
Fat.
But I agree.
Hey, Bob Huggins.
Hey, shout out Bob Huggins. I like him.
I hate him. I hate him so much.
Looking at the consensus, I have Elijah Mitchell at 18. I'm ranking him as if he plays. I think he does play. It's 4 spots higher. Mark Ingram, I'm 9 spots higher. I have him at 21. I am 4 higher on both David Johnson and Rex Burkhead. I have them at 36 and 38. Jeremy Mcnichols, I have at 49. That's 6 spots higher. If he is active and plays, I believe he is in the exact same role as Hilliard was last week. And if they're trailing, I think he gets catches. Otherwise, I think it's going to be Deontay Foreman getting the early down lead back carries. I think that's how this backfield works out now. Obviously, 49, I'm not overly excited about him, but it is what it is.
I'm getting dangerously close to picking up Rex Burkhead, and I know I'm going to hate myself for it.
Don't do it.
I did in one league. I had to do it.
Falling into the trap, Zach.
I'm going to assume you have Hunt at 60 just because you want to see if he plays, right? Where do you think he falls if he does?
I would probably, they play Baltimore. I would probably put him, I'd probably put him in the 17, 18 range. I think he's fine right away. And I trust him more than I would trust Miles Sanders, more than I would trust Josh Jacobs, Mark Ingram, Damien Harris, etc. So I think he's an RB2.
Kareem Hunt pisses me off, man. Second year in a row I've had a running back get hurt and not come back till the 1 week after I'm already out of it. Just to tease me a little bit.
Yeah, that's what they say about Kareem Hunt. He's such a tease.
Mm-hmm.
I'm lower on Devontae Williams. I have him at 25. That's 5 spots lower. I don't know why anybody ever gets excited about him. Trevor, I know you like him. Do you think I'm too low on him?
You said 24?
25.
Correct? 25.
25, Trevor, open your ears.
Thanks, Luke. I was trying to look him
Luke
up.
snapped.
I got confused. Luke said this is what you get for that gravy take. I think that's solid. Yards per carry, he's been fantastic since week 4, but he doesn't get carries. I think Melvin Gordon has done a good job in this backfield. I still find it a little weird that he's getting so much less carries and only just a few more targets in the receiving game. But, until something changes, I don't see a reason he should change from 25. I think Gordon hurts his value immensely. Kind of like, Stevenson to Harris, but a little less.
Is Devontae Williams a player where he's going to get more work when Denver gets eliminated from the playoffs?
I don't think so. I don't know why they would. I mean, young running backs have such a short shelf life anyways, and Melvin Gordon's got his foot out the door. You might as well just run him into the ground.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. This week, though, he plays the Chargers in a revenge game, so I would assume he has the better touchdown upside. That's why I have him ahead. I'm lower on Jeff Wilson because I have Elijah Mitchell up there. Zach Moss, I have at 43. That's 5 lower. People are ranking him 38, and I have no idea why. And then I'm lower on Devontae Booker, who people have at 49. Again, not sure why, but that's it. Any other running back you want to talk about?
Yes, Saquon Barkley, you have him at 13. Is that pretty much where everybody else has him?
I think so. It didn't pop up.
Luke, what are you doing?
I don't know. Some hurts on my tongue.
So you show it to the camera?
I wanted to see if there was anything on there.
Yeah, this is the place to do it, isn't it?
Well, this would be the most appropriate time during a show to do it. I'm not going to get up and go to the bathroom.
You did bring up Saquon.
Why not?
I have him ranked exactly where the consensus has him.
Yeah.
So 13.
He's a good football player, but he sucks. Like, as in, what are they going to do for him? How is he going to find success? Like, this team and his injury history just completely ruined him. It's sad to see. I'm glad people are starting to get off the wagon, though. People still talk about him like he's an RB1. He hasn't been that this year, except for like 1 week, I think.
That being said, I would buy low. Personally. Yeah. Jason Garrett just got fired, and the big narrative was you didn't try to establish the run. You didn't give Saquon Barkley the ball. What do you think Freddie Kitchen's going to do? He's going to try to establish the run. He's going to give Saquon Barkley the ball. So that's why I like him this week. I'm also not overly afraid of the Eagles. Obviously, there's an injury risk. I mean, no duh. He's fragile. He's a poor, little, fragile running back behind a shattered glass offensive line, essentially. So, do I trust him going forward? Not necessarily, but it is what it is. Luke?
So I'm not going to name names, but one of us on the show could be me, couldn't be me. Drafted Zach Moss as the sleeper running back, and I was getting fucked on it. And now has the 2 other Buffalo running backs on their bench, and needs to know who the other 2 on the show would pick to play if you're choosing a Buffalo running back.
I'd drop all of them.
I'd rather play Rex Burkhead.
No, I'm not falling into that trap.
I hate Rex Burkhead. I'd rather start Rex Burkhead too.
Yeah, all right. Do it. Yeah.
We're not naming names, so it could be anyone on this
Kevin
show.
Coleman.
What a sad bench. You have 3 Buffalo running backs, and none of them are getting the ball.
Nope.
At that point, you should be kicked to the minor league version of our league.
Hey, that's how it works. I also have Josh Allen and Emmanuel Sanders too, so I went all in on Buffalo.
See, yeah, Matt did not work at all.
No, it did to start, not anymore.
Which running back from Buffalo would you rather hold for the rest of the season?
None of them.
None, but if I had to hold one, I think Matt Breida might have the most upside.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too. They just keep giving this bastard the ball, and it's not going to stop.
Yeah, probably.
I have Singletary ranked the highest this week, and I think he has the lowest upside rest of the season.
Does this mean we are the 3 Breida boys in here?
Nope.
No,
no,
we're the Burkhead boys, baby.
No.
I'll get on to that.
Nope.
The Burkhead boys and the girly guys. With us out in the field, nobody's safe.
Nope, definitely not Rex Burkhead. Okay, let's go to wide receivers here. Again, a half PPR scoring.
God, I hate Rex
in the same game. In the same game, I have Cooper Kupp at 1, Devontae Adams at 2. I have Deebo Samuel's 3 versus the Vikings. Same game again, Justin Jefferson 4. And then I have Chris Godwin 5 at the Colts. Trevor, what do you think of those 5 wide receivers?
I like him. I mean, it's absolutely insanity that Deebo Samuel is 3 in terms of where he was. I mean, he was like a 7th to 9th round pick in leagues. He's been electric. They're finally using him correctly. To be honest, I'd put Deebo at 2, maybe even at 1, if I didn't know how bad Green Bay's secondary was underneath. I feel that strongly about him. I think he's a lock for a top 5. Devontae, not so much, but obviously against Aaron Ramsey. Jesus, that's a soccer player. Jalen Ramsey, he should have a good game.
Totally agree.
Which seems counterintuitive, but he is, like, to your point, he killed him last time.
The thing
He's
is,
Jalen's daddy.
Jalen Ramsey plays physical football, and Devontae Adams is so good at not getting cornerbacks on him that he can just burn Jalen Ramsey right off the snap.
That's a really good point.
But Minnesota, Justin Jefferson, like, he's a stud at football. It hurts to say as a Packer fan. Like, I think him and Adam Thielen are both studs at football. But it's obvious that Justin Jefferson is the big play guy. He's a guy who's going to take those post routes, going to take those goal routes, those out and ups, whatever. And that's what basically, to me, Minnesota's offense is. Like, give the ball to Dalvin Cook, hit Adam Thielen on an out route, Dalvin Cook, and then Justin Jefferson deep. And that's what they did against the Packers, and I don't know why that shies away from San Francisco, who I've said it all year. I don't think San Francisco is a very good football team. I could definitely see Justin Jefferson repeating what he did last week. But what I'm interested in is, because we have to get creative, because, like Tyreek Hill's out, DeAndre Hopkins out, they're on bye. Zach, you're putting Chris Godwin at 5.
I am. I think Mike Evans is going to serve as a decoy for the majority of the game, and I think he's going to work underneath. I respect the Colts defense. I think they're really good. And early in the year, they just gave up too many massive, huge plays. Just check out that Russell Wilson Seahawks game. And they just eliminated those and let teams pass underneath. And I think that's where Godwin's going to soak up targets. And I'm just kind of hoping he gets a touchdown. I think there's a legitimate chance for like 10 catches, 100 yards. And hopefully there's a touchdown in there as well.
Fair.
One player who I don't feel great about, but I have him at 7 is Jamar Chase. I said a while ago I thought he was overrated, and now he's kind of slowing down. The matchup this week's the Steelers, though, and I don't necessarily believe in the Steelers secondary. We will see who's healthy. Fitzpatrick and Joe Hayden were obviously out last week. I think they both have a good chance to come back, but we shall see. I think TJ Watt will probably still be out. And if that's the case, then maybe Burrow has some time to throw up front. That's all he needs. Like, if Burrow has time to throw, Jamar Chase eventually will get open. If TJ Watt plays, Burrow probably won't have time, in which case Chase is probably outside the top 20 again. I feel like that's how we need to project him going forward. It's just totally about offensive line play.
Yeah.
To me.
The thing is, too, with Pittsburgh, in my mind, I could be, I haven't watched much Pittsburgh, I'll say that, but I feel like they don't give up the big play a lot. Last week they had the Chargers had one big play basically, and that was that bomb to Mike Williams in the fourth quarter. But that took them 56 minutes to get that play. Jamar Chase has been getting all these yards off of big plays. So I don't necessarily know, especially he's got Joe Hayden on him. I don't necessarily know that Jamar Chase finds the end zone. I think I like T. Higgins more to find the end zone than Jamar Chase this week. But just that play alone, I feel like Pittsburgh's kind of like this bend don't break defense. They're not great, but they don't give up those long plays. Let teams drive on them and kind of clamp up come red zone.
That's true. That's mostly because of two guys, though. That's Minkah Fitzpatrick and TJ Watt.
Right. Yeah.
So it depends on if they're playing. I think Minka's back, though. So if he's back, I fully agree. If he's not, I think they're susceptible to the big play again. Because if even just him was playing last week, that Mike Williams play wouldn't have happened.
Right.
I think he would have stopped him. Going down, I hate to say it, I think DK Metcalf's going to bounce back this week. Monday Night Football, Washington sucks. It feels like a DK Metcalf game. I don't know. I've been on record saying I don't think he's very good. Do you guys agree it's probably a bounce back game, or do you think he's going to continue to suck?
Well, with Russell Wilson back, they suck not using DK Metcalf. So you'd think the logic thing would be use DK Metcalf and see how that works. So that would make sense to me on Monday Night Football.
He's not very good, but you have to respect him, right? I think it's got to be him, right? Like, this pisses me off too, because I'm like, in all my leagues, hey, when Russell Wilson comes back, I'm money, baby. And now I'm like that Mr. Krabs meme where I'm looking around, wondering what the hell's going on. This seems like a get-right game. Even though I've said before, I think last night, this could also be one of the ugliest Monday Night Football games of the year.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's either or.
I think Washington wins this game, honestly. I think that's how bad Seattle is.
Same.
Seattle definitely would have beat the Packers with Geno Smith, I think.
Mm-hmm.
If it's between, they are a better team. They're a better team without Russell Wilson, I would say, right now. The way Russell Wilson's playing.
With the way their offense is, yeah, absolutely.
Russell Wilson,
if they had to
he should have resorted to 22 hours of rehab a day instead of 19.
Yeah, that's what it was. He didn't work hard enough. If they had to choose between Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson, I think they need to choose Pete Carroll like 10 times out of 10. Russell Wilson, I think he's a bad quarterback. That's not because of skill. I think he's a very skilled quarterback. I think the way he wants his influence over this offense and the way he wants things to go is unbelievably horrendously bad. Like, this year, they're running his offense, and it's showing. There's nothing underneath. It's deep bombs or nothing. He runs around in the pocket till he gets sacked, and then he blames the offensive line. Like, his decision-making for an incredibly smart person is incredibly bad. And I think his football IQ is unbelievably low, personally.
Totally agree.
Also, how old? I mean, he's 32 already, right? So that's not, we're talking walking cane age, but that's old enough where him needing to use his legs a lot becomes diminishing returns very quickly. So I'd take Pete Carroll too. As much as I hate to say it, because I hate Pete Carroll. I hate a lot of people, but I hate Pete Carroll a lot.
That's fair. Devin S. wants to know if he should start James Robinson, Brandon Cooks, or T. Higgins. When it's a cross position question, I typically resort to who I think is going to score the touchdown. And I think I would probably go James Robinson in this scenario. He plays Atlanta. I have him at RB11. So that's who my pick would be. What about you guys?
Yep, totally agree. Running backs have a better shot at getting a touchdown than receivers just due to the lack of competition for touches.
Yeah, and I mean, even if he wasn't supposed to get a lot of touchdowns, obviously we've seen how dependable Cooks is, even with being the only option, and Higgins is arguably the third option some games. So yeah.
Yep. Someone I love this week, and he will be my guarantee. Darnell Mooney, I have him at wide receiver 16. He's been a stud. I think he gets an upgrade at quarterback with Andy Dalton. And Allen Robinson, I believe, is going to be out again. He gets to play Detroit tomorrow right away. I hope the Lions win, but I think Darnell Mooney is going to have a very good game. Like I said, wide receiver 16. Already looking ahead to the consensus right now. I have him 9 spots higher than the consensus. Everyone else, or on average, has him ranked a wide receiver 25. I am at 16. Do you guys agree that he's a good play, or do you think I'm overhyping him?
I agree he's a good play, and I agree he's a good player. And I agree that outside of Dave Montgomery, there's no one else in this offense. And so Darnell Mooney is the guy. I don't necessarily know how much Andy Dalton's looking deep this game, but, the Lions are a bad defense. So I'm sure something will open up, especially if you get Dave Montgomery going early.
This seems like a game where you see, like, when you're envisioning the game in your head, you just envision somebody getting loose on the Bears for a 50-yard reception for a touchdown. That's going to be Darnell Mooney. Like, it's not going to be anybody else. It's not going to be freaking Cole Kmet over the middle, unless all the Lions players simultaneously have a heart attack on the field.
What about Jimmy Graham?
Anyways, so and I feel like this is a game where they have multiple times they take deep shots to Mooney. And when you're talking, wide receiver 2, mid-tier wide receiver 2, really only have to connect on one of those because we know he's going to be busy outside of that one play too. So I love it.
Talking about another Bears receiver who I guess could get loose, I have Marquise Goodwin at 57, which is 5 spots higher than the consensus. Again, 57 is not saying you need to start this guy. But if you are playing some Thanksgiving FanDuel DraftKings lineups, I think he is a very, very, very smart play. He caught 4 passes for 104 yards last week. And you would think Detroit just tries to take away the big play and force Andy Dalton to make a mistake at some point. But you never know. It's the Lions. Who knows what they're going to do? They may run zero blitz every down. And you know what? I believe in it. I trusted it. Dan Campbell knows what he's doing. But Andy Dalton also could find a track star down the sideline without anybody within 50 yards of him. That's also within the realm of possibility this game.
It's absolutely wild that Marquise Goodwin's still in the NFL. I feel like I've been playing with him in Madden since like Madden 07.
Agreed.
I love him so much. I feel for him. I'm pulling for him. I hope he does well.
Sure. I have nothing against him.
I mean, he lost his kid. How can you not pull for that guy?
True. I think Tyreek Hill did too for different reasons.
Okay. Well,
that's true.
Why do we always tie it to somebody that beat their wife on the show? I don't.
Hey, Tyreek Hill's a fast guy, and he is incredible athlete. Not playing this week though, so let's not talk about him.
Good basketball player too.
Is he?
Yeah.
You know who else is? Devin Funchess.
Good signing, Packers.
Good for him. He did it. I have Michael Gallup at 15 currently, assuming CeeDee Lamb and Cooper. Well, Cooper's out, but assuming CeeDee Lamb doesn't play. Apparently, CeeDee Lamb practiced today, but he hasn't cleared concussion protocol. So that's weird, and I don't think he plays. Don't know.
That's a Jerry Jones slip in the NFL. $1,000.
Guess it's probably a walkthrough today, so maybe that's why. But I don't know. At least, hey, he can walk. That's good. Good news. Good news, Cowboys fans.
Maybe.
He's not that concussed, I guess.
We never heard he did it successfully. He could have been stumbling like a drunk out there.
It's a good point. Him and Mike McCarthy would be two of the same at that point then. I have A.J. Brown at 20, and I am tempted to move him lower against the Patriots. What do you guys think about him?
Don't love him. I have A.J. Brown in a lot of leagues. There's been a lot of times this year where A.J. Brown has gone out in the first drive with an injury. That happened last week. And what is New England known for? Taking away the best player on the other team. With Derrick Henry out, the best player is A.J. Brown. I don't like A.J. Brown at all this week. I'm still going to start him, and I'm still going to get fucked, and I'm still going to get mad. But that doesn't matter. But I don't like him this week.
We'll clip this for you, and we'll send it to you multiple times to get you back in the mode. I was never really sold on him coming into this season. And this game just makes it worse. Like he's going to get shut down. There would have to be a pretty big, colossal mistake for him to be a wide receiver 2, in my opinion, as crazy as that may seem.
I think I agree. I'll probably move him down tonight yet. Yeah. Okay. So just really quick, compared to the consensus, I'm higher on Mooney, like I said. I'm higher by 4 on Jameson Crowder, who I have at 40. I have, a lot of guys I don't want to talk about. Okay. So I'm lower on Mike Evans. I have him at 13. That's 5 lower. I'm lower on A.J. Brown. 4 lower. Consensus has him at 16. T. Higgins, I am 5 lower. I have him at 24. And yeah, that's it. Any other wide receivers you want to talk about? Okay. Props to everybody else who's high on A.J. Brown, apparently. Tight ends. Tight end 1, I have Darren Waller at the Cowboys tomorrow. I have Mark Andrews versus the Browns at 2. Kyle Pitts at the Jaguars at 3. George Kittle versus the Vikings at 4. And Dalton Schultz versus the Raiders tomorrow afternoon at 5. Luke, what do you think of those 5 tight ends?
So Dalton Schultz is a really interesting one because CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper aren't going to – Amari Cooper's not going to be there. CeeDee Lamb's on the fence. Dalton Schultz, to me, has kind of turned into this role where he helps Dallas. They use him in the middle of the field. He helps them get down to the red zone, and they stop looking to him in the red zone. I don't necessarily know that can be the case this week because he's Ezekiel Elliott. You never know what you're going to get out of him if he's hurt or not, twisted his ankle or whatever last week. Dalton Schultz seems like he has to be a guy this week in order to beat Vegas. And don't look now, but this NFC East is getting kind of close. Philadelphia's 3 games back. This seems like a game where Dallas needs to win. Vegas, I still don't think they're that great of a football team. It feels like Dallas should run the ball here and then use it to play action, Dalton Schultz, and they shouldn't take any shots deep and just play it safe and get out of Vegas alive here.
Agreed. Trevor, what do you think of these 5 guys?
I agree. As much as it hurts me. You know what? I never thought I'd do this. I got to go on a little gripe about tight ends here. They did Dan Arnold dirty. I saw a stat he could have been the first. This sounds wrong, so please correct me if I am, but it is a Jackson.
No, I know what stat you're saying. It's right.
Yeah, he would have been the first Jacksonville tight end to have 4 straight games with 50-plus receiving yards. You cannot tell me that Urban Meyer did not know that and was like, yeah, fuck you. Like, they didn't even give him a target. He's like arguably the best receiver on their team. It's like, what are you doing? It just made no sense. So seeing him at 14, right? 14? Nope. Yeah, 14. I can't count. Numbers are hard. Seeing him at 14 makes me sad. But, it is what it is. But as for, Dalton Schultz, I think he's kind of a Dan Arnold in terms of usage. And then he also gives you that touchdown possibility that Dan Arnold doesn't. And I think that easily makes him top 5.
Yeah, I didn't watch the Jaguars game last week for obvious reasons. I am just going to assume they tripled Dan Arnold. That's the only explanation I can think of. 49ers had to take him out of the game, and that's what happened. And maybe that's why the 49ers won.
So we have some questions from
Hi, Henry.
Rose. He's going to talk about Tevin Coleman. Nobody answer him. Mute him. Kick him for like 30 minutes, Zach.
I want to hear what he has to say.
The first question from the chosen Rose was start 2, Emmanuel Sanders, Jerry Jeudy, Hunter Renfrow, MVS, Russell Gage. I'd start Renfrow and MVS. I think MVS can get loose for 1. He's looked good. I like him. It's just whether they connect.
I'm starting Sanders.
Renfrow for sure.
I'm starting Sanders and MVS.
You guys really trust MVS, huh?
Well, it seems like with MVS in, Rodgers has looked to him about 5 times a game and just overthrown all 5 of them the last couple of games. That's my only reason, because if MVS is catching a ball, it's going 50 yards for a touchdown.
Right. I think I would personally go Renfrow and Jeudy. Yeah. Judy's got something to prove. He's the only wide receiver who didn't get an extension this past week.
Holy crap. So we got the next 2 of 3 from the chosen Rose. Freiermuth or Higbee?
Freiermuth.
Zach, looking at your rankings, you have Freiermuth at 8, Higbee at 15, so Freiermuth. And then last question, is it safe to start Corduro Patterson?
No.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, that's, it's kind of just like Mark Ingram. Lucius Vorenus 44. David. I love the name Lucius. I'm not gonna lie, that's a dope name.
Tell us what 44 stands for, Lucius. I want to know.
Sure. Maybe it's the 44th Lucius Vorenus. You never know. I probably just butchered your name. I apologize. Start David Johnson, Odell Beckham, or Elijah Mitchell. Worries with Elijah how much he'll play. I might go David Johnson. Rex Burkhead is getting good amount of runs, good amount of carries like we talked about yesterday. But David Johnson's getting some receiving work, so I'll take him.
I'd personally roll the dice on Elijah Mitchell. Like, I think it's a finger injury, so it's not like a lower body injury where they have to manage it. It's either he's going to play or he's not going to play personally. And if he plays, he's going to get 20 carries. So I like him.
Yeah, I agree with Elijah Mitchell. If he doesn't play, I don't know. I'm really feeling Odell Beckham at the Rams. Am I falling into a trap? Maybe. But especially against the Packers, the way that secondary looked last week, there was big plays everywhere from all the receivers. I mean, this seems like a perfect game for, the Odell 100 yards, a touchdown game, and then everyone gets back on the train and he disappoints them again.
It's also, he felt disrespected by the Packers, even though I don't think that's necessarily true. It's also a game for McVay to sort of flex on the floor, like, hey, we got this guy and you didn't. Mm-hmm. He chose us over you. So that makes sense. Lush, do you want to say his name again? Go ahead.
No, you go for it.
I think it's Varenus.
Okay.
That sounds better than what I said.
Okay. Start Cam or Rodgers this week. Start Dak or Burrow. I'd start. Man, like I have Rodgers ranked higher, so I guess I would start Rodgers and Dak. I don't necessarily love it, but that's what I would do.
Yep.
Same.
Henry, I agree with you. Van Jefferson should be the number one option, but McVay's
not as good.
Too dumb to see that.
Yeah, not as good.
Great route running.
Had it.
Shout out Van Jefferson.
Gallup or Schultz from Henry. That's actually tough. I'd go Gallup. Tough one though.
Yep.
I think
not tough for me. Screw Dalton Schultz.
Yep.
How dare you? Dalton Schultz carried my bitch ass on fantasy last year. I owe it to him.
Gallup scores, Schultz doesn't.
Yeah, I think he weirdly has higher touchdown upside.
Yep.
Rest of these tight ends here. I have Rob Gronkowski at 6. That's 3 higher. I have Pat Freiermuth at 8. That's 3 higher. He's an absolute stud. Starting him every week. Especially with Eric Ebron out yet again. Surprise, surprise. I have Logan Thomas. I think he comes back and plays this week, in which case I have him at 11. That's 17 spots higher. Donald Parham, put some respect on his name. He's not necessarily a tight end or a touchdown dependent guy anymore. I have him at 23. That's 6 higher. I have Alberto at 27. That's 3 higher. I have Josiah DeGuara at 28. That's 9 higher. He's clearly the best tight end on the Packers. Sorry, Dominique Daphne. I am lower on TJ Hawkinson, Hunter Henry, Tyler Conklin, and CJ Uzomah, 3 spots lower on them all.
It's time to dump CJ Uzomah for people who are still chasing those long touchdowns.
He's just unpredictable. Like, he's going to have more games. It's just you're never, ever going to predict him. So, yeah, right. You don't need to have him. Anybody else you want to talk about before we do a guarantee? Okay.
I don't think so.
I will recap first. Don't step on my toes, Zach. We got to go over what happened.
I'm trying to get through this fucking show. We're supposed to turn the other one. We don't need a recap.
Hey, no, I'll run through it. Luke said Hunter Henry touchdown. No. I said Hurts rushing touchdown. Yes. Zach, you said Wayne Gallman, top 35 running back. He scored negative points. Let's be honest. That's the real reason you didn't want to talk about it. All right, so what's your guarantee?
What was that? I think that Quadri Allison got activated and played over Wayne Gallman. What a decision. So Darnell Mooney, consensus has him at 25. I have him at 16. I'm saying he's a top 20 guy this week.
I think this is the only game that the Lions can win all year with Andy Dalton starting at quarterback. So that seems like DeAndre Swift's going to get the ball a lot. Give me DeAndre Swift 100 yards, 100 total combined yards, 100 plus, and a touchdown.
I like that. Mine, I'm going to do 2 because I feel confident about both of them, and nobody can tell me no.
That's what I try to do, Trevor. It doesn't work.
Jonathan Taylor, I think bold take. I don't think he's going to be a top 15 running back this week. Very bold take, I guess. And Matt Ryan, he's going to do what we all don't expect him to do. He's going to have 300 plus yards and 3 touchdowns. I don't make the rules. It's just how this thing works.
I don't approve of that one. Like, I don't even care if it doesn't hit. You don't even need to count it. Screw that.
Hey, I'm sorry, Zach. I can't hear you from second place on the guarantee totem pole.
Sick bird. Okay.
Stupid.
I'm going to assume I'm last.
Yeah, you're 1-0-13. So Zach's 2-1-8. I'm 4-1-6. So.
Okay, we'll be back with Lombardi sweep in like 5 minutes.